5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Happy New Year. For Bulgarians, this new year meant a new currency. Out with the lev and in with the euro. Bulgaria is joining the big happy Eurozone family. But not everyone's pleased, with worries the euro will push prices even higher. On top of that, the country is in the midst of political crisis. 7 governments have come and gone in 4 years, and there's endemic corruption. So is Bulgaria ready for the euro? Before we talk money, here's a Bulgaria 101. Bulgaria is the biggest country in the Balkans, sitting between the European Union and Russia. 2 of its neighbours are in the EU, Greece and Romania. Bulgaria became an EU member in 2007, 3 years after it joined NATO. But it's also on the Black Sea, not far from Ukraine, and has historically been firmly within Russia's sphere of influence. That's cultural as well. The country's primary religion is the Orthodox Church, and it uses the Cyrillic alphabet. It's now the 21st country to join the single currency. Not every member of the EU is in the Eurozone. Denmark held a referendum on joining the euro back in 2000, and its citizens said no. Other countries don't fulfill the conditions to join. So, at midnight on the 1st of January, as fireworks were let off and EU flags waved, the Bulgarian lev, which has been in use since 1880, was officially retired. How did Bulgaria greet its new currency? This 2-year-old Bulgarian girl certainly won't remember her country's adoption of the euro and the ceremonies that marked the event. But it's a milestone for the country that some might see as late in coming. Bulgaria joined the EU 19 years ago. Supporters of the change think it will boost trade and business. Bulgaria has a transition period of a month to make the switch to the new currency. Until the end of January, prices will be marked in both euros and leva in shops. It may have been years in the making, but Brussels gave the final green light for Bulgaria to join the Eurozone only 6 months ago.
So you know that euro is more than just a currency. It is a tangible symbol of European unity and the peace and prosperity that our European project continues to deliver right across our continent.
Nearly half of Bulgarians are against the change, mostly because of fears it will lead to higher prices as shops match prices in other EU countries. But many Bulgarians also feel like the decision has been made without consulting them.
Ние сме в еврозоната от 2007 година. Няма как да не. Искаме, но трябваше, нали, референдум.
Surveys held in 2025 showed that only 42% of Bulgarians said they were in favour of adopting the euro, while 9% were undecided. So why are so many people sceptical? We asked 2 people in the country what they thought, a professor at the University of National and World Economy in Sofia and the Bulgarian correspondent of our media partner Bern, the Balkan Investigative Reporting Network.
The increase of prices is the biggest concern, and it was used very manipulatively by opponents of joining the euro right now, exploiting these fears in the general public that prices may go up compared to the experience of other countries that have joined the eurozone.
Up until 1 month ago, there was no actual effort for any kind of informational campaign, which is essentially a perfect soil for disinformation about speculations and, of course, Bulgaria's own troubles with the Russian source disinformation, or let's say pro-Russian disinformation, because it's up to speculation about what's coming from Kremlin and what's sort of homegrown in a way.
Economically, where does Bulgaria stand? It's one of the poorest countries in the EU. Last year, the minimum monthly wage was just over 550 euros gross. And Bulgaria's GDP in 2024 accounted for just 0.57% of the entire Eurozone's GDP. But that's not to say that Bulgaria is not a diligent student. It's made sure that it's ticked all the boxes needed to join the single currency. Bulgaria is easily top of the class when it comes to managing its debt. With debt at just 24%, it's far ahead of the EU average, which is almost 4 times higher. Bulgaria has also gained entry to the Eurozone after bringing its inflation under control. The country's inflation dropped to just 2.8% last year, compared to 8% in 2007 when the country joined the EU. Bulgaria's economy is thriving, with GDP growing at an enviable rate of 3%. That's more than twice the EU average and nearly 3 times that of the Eurozone. By joining the currency union, Bulgaria hopes to give its already strong economy an extra boost. It no longer has to deal with conversion rates with other member states also using the euro. This is a huge advantage, since the EU is Bulgaria's largest trading partner. Around 64% of its exports go to EU countries, and more than 57% of its imports come from member states. Now it's adopted the euro, it will be easier for Eurozone countries to invest in Bulgaria, and there will likely be a wave of tourists looking to take advantage of slightly cheaper holidays.
Definitely, it will be easier for investments. It creates stability. It creates predictability. In macroeconomic terms, this is very important. We have a lot of remittances coming from migrant workers, Bulgarian migrant workers to other EU member states, Germany, Spain, and Italy, and Greece. Other countries where remittances to Bulgaria are coming, and actually all these countries are in the Eurozone. So in terms of even personal finances, there will be, better opportunities.
So as we've just heard, economists are painting a rosy picture of Bulgaria's adoption of the euro, saying that it should lead to some financial stability. Unfortunately, the same can't be said for its politics. Bulgaria has started the year with the euro, but without a government, and without a budget for 2026. And that political instability has given a platform to Eurosceptic parties. In this heated session in the Sofia Parliament in June 2025, the far-right Revival Party described the adoption of the single currency as Euro-colonialism. Eurosceptic politicians have claimed that the switch will benefit political elites and erode Bulgarian national sovereignty.
Ние искаме българската финансова независимост да бъде унищожена, че искаме да запазим българския лев и че в момента имаме един много простичък избор. Или свобода, или евро.
That kind of message has found support in a country that has seen 7 general elections since 2021 and is heading towards an 8th. Several prime ministers have resigned after being found to be directly involved in corruption cases. Plus, there are fears of inflation, with businesses using the new currency as an opportunity to round up prices, as has happened in other countries that have made the switch.
На момента прави впечатление, че всичко нараства навсякъде, цените се увеличават и то драстично.
For the younger generation, the problem is not the adoption of the euro, but the country's corrupt political class. Vast protests swept the country in December, with more than 100,000 people taking to the streets to protest a draft budget, bringing down yet another Bulgarian government.
Protests were not against joining the Eurozone. These protests involved a lot of young people, but they are more politically motivated, and they wanted quicker change and quicker transformation of all outdated political routines in Bulgaria.
The cost of life is becoming more expensive. In the last few years, living in the capital or in the main towns of Bulgaria is becoming less and less affordable. I think that, for example, if you are a parent or just, let's say, a young person going to Sofia to study, the cost of living is now very similar to the cost of living in the West, while, for example, the wages are not really adding up. So there are fears about this and how this can be played out in near future. But yeah, this is much more about Bulgaria navigating its own economy than directly connected to the euro.
Those massive demonstrations that caused the latest cabinet to collapse were led by the rallying cry, "Don't feed the pig." That's a reference to Delian Pievsky, a businessman turned politician accused of corruption who was seen as wielding control over the government that resigned. Young people in the country are sick of the influence peddling and bribery that characterises Bulgarian politics. Joining the euro is a symbol of the country's tilt towards the West, rather than in the other direction, towards Russia. And that dichotomy is reflected in a generational divide.
We do have this old division, pro and anti-Russian sentiment in Bulgaria. Usually the elderly people might be more skeptic and more pro-Russian oriented, but younger generations, especially those born after Bulgaria joined the European Union, I mean the generations born after 2006, 2007, they are much more pro-European oriented.
A lot of people are coming back to Bulgaria, which I don't know how much data there is on that, but it's definitely visible. Which is also because of, the dynamics of the immigration are changing nowadays. People are coming back, going somewhere else, then coming back and forth and back and forth. So yeah, there is an air of hope.
There's definitely change in the air in Bulgaria, propelled in part by this switch to a new currency, which feels appropriate for the start of a new year. So this is our chance to wish you a happy new year. Here in France, we keep saying bonne année for basically the whole month of January, which for me feels like overkill. But here's wishing you a fresh new page with good things to come, wherever you are. Until next week, goodbye.